Welcome back to the 1991 review channel. In the quiet of his immortal's cave, Hanli slowly opened his eyes, a lingering trace of fear still visible within them. He had just been reliving the perilous process of his breakthrough. The inner demons had conjured his most terrifying visions, from being hunted to the brink of death by powerful enemies to being betrayed by those closest to him. A single moment of hesitation, a single second of weakness, and he could have been eternally lost in those illusions, his cultivation scattered, his soul dispersed. At this thought, even as a nascent soul-old monster, Hanli couldn't help but feel a shiver. At this point, the 2 days he had given himself to think had passed. With his new status, he needed a stable foundation, a name big enough to conceal his secrets. The Drifting Cloud sect was the most suitable choice. Therefore, without hesitation, he immediately agreed to join. Hearing this news, the two elders, Qing Tiankuan and Lu Luo, looked as if a great weight had been lifted from their shoulders, their joy evident in every wrinkle. The addition of a new nascent soul cultivator was not just one more expert. It was a pillar that would support the sect's prosperity for at least the next 1,000 years. They immediately proposed convening a grand assembly for the entire sect, while also inviting high-level cultivators from other sects to hold a magnificent inauguration ceremony for Hanli, showcasing their new strength. However, Hanli, with his cautious nature etched into his very bones, instantly refused the proposal. He had no desire to become the center of attention. All he wanted was a simple ceremony, just a notification to the other two sects on the Cloud Dream Mountains. After all, he would have to interact with the nascent soul elders of those two sects sooner or later. Moreover, he had too many secrets and matters to attend to discreetly. Becoming too prominent would only bring unnecessary trouble. Thus, his inauguration was ultimately just an internal meeting with the core formation cultivators and some key disciples of the Drifting Cloud sect. Even so, when the official ceremony took place, the entire sect was buzzing with excitement. Seeing Hanli calmly step on the high platform, everyone, from the elders to the ordinary disciples, bowed their heads in reverence. The former core formation stage patriarchs and peak lords now had to respectfully address him as Marshal Uncle Han. In the crowd, White Phoenix Fairy's song revealed a deeply complex expression. She had once been an admired genius, but now, the young man she had once overlooked had reached a position she could only look up to. The disciples who had crossed hands with him in the sect tournament 20 years prior were especially shaken, their hearts filled with an indescribable mix of shock and pride. They had once sparred with a living legend. Following the ceremony, Qing Tiankuan announced that Hanli had officially become a Grand Elder of the Drifting Cloud sect and could choose any mountain rich in spiritual energy in the Cloud Dream Mountains to open his own cave abode. Hanli did not stand on ceremony. After a day of searching, he selected a quiet mountain with dense spiritual energy to the east of the Drifting Cloud sect. For old Devil Han, opening a cave abode was as common as eating a meal, so within just half a day, an exquisite immortal's cave, hidden in the heart of the mountain, was completed. After meticulously placing layer upon layer of restrictive spells, Hanli returned to his old herb garden to move a few important items to his new residence. Unexpectedly, as soon as he stepped through the entrance, he saw Mu Peeling already waiting. The once proud and icy woman now wore an expression of pleading and anxiety. Seeing Hanli, she immediately bowed her head, her voice trembling. "I hope that Senior might accept Peeling as a disciple. This Junior will definitely serve Senior for my entire life." Hanli was a little surprised, but remained extremely vigilant internally. Trouble. This was the only word that appeared in his mind. He maintained a calm facade and replied, "I do not accept disciples. Besides, with your aptitude, you would have a better future under a core formation elder. Do you think I would accept a foundation establishment stage female cultivator as a disciple?" Without giving Mu Peeling a chance to say more, Hanli's figure vanished and reappeared inside his beast chamber. A ferocious and ancient aura immediately washed over him. Inside, nearly 10,000 crimson gold devouring beetles were writhing ceaselessly. The sound of their tens of thousands of hard carapaces rubbing together created a rustling noise that could make one's skin crawl. This swarm of beetles had successfully evolved. Whether in the devouring ability or the hardness of their bodies, they far surpassed the previous tricolored flying insects. He believed that if this swarm were unleashed, they could easily tear a core formation cultivator to shreds in an instant. Not long after, Hanli moved them, along with the spirit-eye tree and the 9-curved spirit ginseng, to his new cave abode. As he passed by, he still saw Mu Peeling waiting with an unwilling expression, but he decided to ignore her. After arranging everything, Hanli handed over management duties to Silvermoon, and then entered his quiet chamber to enter seclusion and stabilize his nascent soul. 100 days later, Hanli successfully consolidated his nascent soul, his cultivation, and realm now completely stable. However, as soon as he exited his cave, Silvermoon greeted him with a strange smile and said, "Master, you had only been in the quiet chamber for half a month when that Marshal Aunt Mu came looking for you. She had been kneeling outside the cave abode for over 2 months now. Hanli frowned upon hearing this and said coldly, "This woman truly doesn't know when to advance or retreat. If she likes to wait, then let her wait. I don't want to invite trouble upon myself." "I'm afraid you can't ignore it this time," Silvermoon continued, dropping a bombshell. "Not long after she arrived, we successfully received transmission glyphs from both the Yen family and the Mu family. The contents all congratulate Master on accepting Mu Peeling, and simultaneously announced the cancellation of the marriage contract between the Mu and Yen families." Feeling a sense of unease, Han Li took the transmission glyphs. As his spiritual sense swept over them, his face instantly contorted with anger. He let out a cold snort and growled, "This woman has some nerve. She's forcing me into a corner. Does she really think that just by doing this, I will let her manipulate the situation as she pleases?" Hearing this, Silvermoon tried to suppress a laugh and analyzed. She naturally knows that doing this would offend Master, but she is making a gamble. She's betting that Master is not truly a man with a heart of stone and wouldn't be cruel enough to ruin her future and reputation. Besides, even if Master were to punish her, she probably feels it would still be better than having to dual cultivate with that senior brother Yen. The anger on Han Li's face suddenly softened. He fell into deep thought. Silvermoon was right. This woman had pushed both herself and him into a game with no turning back. He could step forward and deny everything, but that would ruin Mu Peeling's reputation and cause the two cultivator families to lose face. The trouble would be even greater. Conversely, if he silently accepted, he glanced at Silvermoon and said something strange. "I have now achieved the nascent soul stage, and the path of cultivation is wide open. Is it so strange to accept a concubine? Besides, this woman's looks are not bad. I am a male cultivator. I can turn this pretense into reality. What's so bad about taking this opportunity to taste dual cultivation?" Silvermoon was completely taken aback. "But hasn't Master always been uninterested in women? You've even rejected such good opportunities that came to your door several times before, like that Miss Win." Hearing this, Han Li's voice rose, filled with the confidence of a true powerhouse. "That was then, this is now. Back then, my nascent soul was not yet formed, my cultivation was low, and every step had to be taken with extreme caution, as if walking on thin ice. Naturally, I had no mind for pleasure or taking concubines. It's different now. If the Winceo today were to cross my path again, I certainly wouldn't let her go so easily." Hearing this, Silvermoon was stunned into silence. She realized that after entering the nascent soul stage, it wasn't just her master's cultivation that had changed, but his mentality as well. He was no longer a low-level cultivator who always had to hide, but was beginning to adopt the bearing of a superior, a true old monster. Han Li didn't discuss it further, and simply told her to summon Mu Peeling. Soon after, Mu Peeling, her face pale but her eyes shining with hope, stood before him. Glancing at her lightly, his voice came out sternly. "You certainly know why I've called you here. It is because of your reckless actions and words that a cultivator like myself, who has just advanced to the nascent soul stage, is now seen by your families as an arrogant and overbearing person who brazenly steals another's betrothed. Taking my current cultivation into account, your two families will not dare to complain, and I don't care much for it either. But that doesn't mean I will let you off easily. You will also be punished by me. So, what do you all think? How should Han Li punish Mu Peeling in a way that is reasonable? Leave your opinions in the comments section below. With that, episode 158 of A Record of a Mortal's Journey to Immortality comes to a close. Hello, and see you again on the 1991 Review channel.